Well, welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I want to show you how I make my homemade biscuits, and I hope you'll find this interesting, enlightening. Maybe it can help someone that's intimidated. It's really not that hard to do, but it does take practice and learning what to look for, what to not do, and what to do, what's important to make bread. So just hang on, guys. We'll be ready and we'll get together, and I'll show you how to make your very own homemade biscuits from scratch. Alright, guys, let's get right to it. I have 2 cups of flour, this self-rising flour, and it has been sifted. That's about 2 cups. The reason I say that, that's generally what I go for, but sometimes you may have, depending on the weather, that affects that with the humidity. This is coconut oil. You can use butter, lard. I'm going to put what is going to look like about 3 tablespoons. This is coconut oil. If I use butter, I will put roughly about a half a stick, I think, in there. And it's better if you can let it thaw out just a little bit to like room temperature or almost room temperature. I'm going to cut this in with a pastry blender, and there's really nothing to that. You just want to break it up till it's in like little pea-sized chunks or smaller. Okay. I have here, this is a cup. I don't know if I'm going to need all of it or not, but we'll see. But I try to make me a little well, as old people called it, down in the center of my flour, and I'll add my buttermilk. I'm going to just go ahead and pour it all in there, so I think it's going to need it, just judging by the looks of it. That comes from experience too, guys. I'm going to need a little bit more, and instead of using, y'all know me, stretch it, I'm going to just finish this off with some water. If you want to use more milk, that's perfectly fine. But I want to get all of this flour incorporated into it. But I sort of know how I want my dough to look before I start kneading it. I think we're going to be good right here. And I use a fork. You can use your hands if that's what you want to do. This part, I like using a fork with it. I don't have a dough scraper or a dough knife, so this is what I have to use. Might have that, I don't know, that's pretty close to being like I want it. Got a piece of wax paper, and I'm gonna dust, put a little bit of flour on it. little bit right here. And this is where it's probably easiest to get your hands in it. So we're gonna roll this out. Okay, got this on here, and I'm going to put just a little bit of flour over it. Get my flour bowl over here. And we're going to flatten this out. Y'all have seen this done if you've watched a lot of biscuit making videos. I'm sure you have already seen this done. Now, that dough is fairly loose, and we want to eliminate that. And the more you knead it, now some people will say 7 times. I do what I think it needs. Sometimes that'll be 7, and I need a little more flour, I do know that. It is stuck on that side right there. Alright, I'm not the best at doing this, but it's starting to get like I like it. Now, why it's attracted to this one side, I need to get more flour on it right there. Now, maybe that'll stop that. We ought to be getting pretty close to the way I like it. Alright, that's pressed down to about a 1/2 inch thick. Let me get my hands cleaned up and I'll be right back. Alright, guys, we're going to try to go ahead and cut this. Take your cutter and dip it in some flour, and the bread will come right out. I have a greased pan. I don't know if I've mentioned this, but I will tell you before you start. That one's not cooperating. Let's just skip it. Before you start, preheat your oven to 450. That's what works for me. Now, that may not necessarily work for you, but it's a starting place. But it seems like that's always been the sweet spot for breads. That's self-rising. And generally, I will get roughly a baker's dozen. If you know what that is, it's not 12. It's either 11 or 13. That's the general rule. I don't know what I'm going to end up with today. It looks like it could be a 13, because I am well over halfway to 12. And we'll just knead this again real quick. Just a little more flour go on that. Alright. Flatten it back out. There's 11. And I think we can definitely get 2 more to be 13. All right. Now, once your oven is preheated, let me say this about bread. Do not put your bread in there. I don't know if I mentioned this on my video with the cornbread, but don't put your bread in there until the oven has reached its temperature. We can tighten this up just a little bit. And I can get that 13th in there. This is how my mother, my grandmother would do it. They would pinch off a little ball like that, and that was their way. I'm gonna see if I can squeeze it in here somewhere. Like that. All right, I'm gonna clean up. We're gonna get this in the oven. Okay guys, there you are. Something I like to do, I love to take a little bit of butter. This is Amish butter. That's all I buy anymore. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. But anyway, I just brush the tops with it. You can melt it and put it on with a brush, but I just do it like this. And these took roughly about 10 to 15 minutes, probably closer to 15 minutes at 450 degrees. Now I will say this is convection oven. Conventional oven may be different. I don't know, it's been so long since I've used one till I forgot how. And I'm gonna save me a couple out. And I'm going to put the rest in here. So there you have it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. And stay tuned. It's just about garden season, so we'll be doing something pretty shortly. Y'all have a great day, and thank you for watching.